Viewer discretion is advised.
This happened.
We're talking about our
Peyton did this in the Super Bowl. And of course, your owner parties harder than Amanda Bynes and Tara Reid on a bender.
You broke one Hall of Fame quarterback's neck, then took a future one and broke his will.
Taking my joy of this game away,
And booed him on the way out. Really? I get it though, even Mike Pence thinks your fans suck. Down in the Super Bowl, you were ready to start the second half by getting the ball. How did that work out? And your team called and then executed the worst play in the history of mankind. And now this guy is your starting QB. However, he does make more sense than Ryan Gregson.
We're talking about our idiot kicker who got liquored up and ran his mouth off.
Pardon my French, but you're an asshole.
Dearest mother, the wonderful woolen threads you have provided me keep me warm and cozy. However, they do not protect me from the invaders who cross into my territory and strike me with violence. Please send more rations and offensive line protectors, and may we be free of dysentery and whooping cough this winter. Your loving Andrew.
One of the few retractable roof domes in the league, Lucas Oil Stadium also features side windows that open as well. Host of Super Bowl 46, an entire luxury hotel was built a couple blocks from the stadium specifically for that Super Bowl. I definitely like the old fieldhouse style architecture, and I'm also willing to bet the owner's suite features rotating tables. Who has a more awkward looking face, Blue or Andrew Luck? It's Andrew Luck, but yo, Blue's nostrils are kind of offensive. The one thing Blue specializes in though is defense against little kids. Hopefully when he retires, the Colts don't turn him into glue.
Is human. To do it repeatedly because your team is a poorly run shithole transcends all humanity and turns you into a savant. This savant resides in what we call the Glue Factory, a cold, desolate warehouse located in Indianapolis devoted to killing off whatever hope players and fans may have had. Enter this house at your own peril. Staring into its eye will lead to irreparable injury and being chucked to the side for its next victim. But this is an exaggeration, you say. The Colts won a Super Bowl about a decade ago. Let's put this to rest. They faced Rex Grossman. That dude could have been handed the keys to a Corvette and he still would have overthrown them by 20 yards. The Bears were nothing but defense. For fuck's sake, all they had to do was blow down a straw house and they would have won that game. Have you seen the many countless failures of the Colts with Peyton Manning? How they nearly fucked up his entire career whilst chucking him under the bus to die on the side of the road. Denver merely picked him up from the rescue shelter and groomed him back to a Super Bowl victory at least. The first stop in the factory tour leads us to head coach Chuck Pagano, a wind-up doll of cliches and bullshit spewing. His ineptitude with game planning and clock management is second to none, and his antics have cost the Colts many a game during his tenure. Heck, let's hear it from the man himself.
Lack of pressure, you name it. I mean, we got our asses kicked. And credit 49ers and head coach McVay.
They had played the Rams that week. This best describes Pagano's tenure as coach. A random sway of luck or strong play that is immediately bashed with a crowbar by Chuck's meddling hands. He will just wash it over with a generalized trope or rah-rah speech to motivate his men to charge headfirst into cannon fire. Give this man clay and he will mold it into a knife to stab you with. He used this knife to duel with Ryan Gregson, GM extraordinaire. I would say that this hire was a prime example of the Peter principle, but that would mean that he was any good at his former job. No, when Ryan was hired by the Colts, apparently all of the Eagles' brass shit bricks. He was the equivalent of the guy who assigned meaningless shit because he fucks everything else up, but Indianapolis was sold on the putrid shit he was selling. It's like a lot of scouting in the NFL. He had the look of a GM. Big, imposing, egotistical, could sell a bag of needles to a hemophiliac. When it came to actually doing his job, let me put it to you this way. He thought it was a good idea idea to trade a first-round pick for Trent Richardson. It doesn't matter that the Browns used that pick to get Johnny Football, he made them look like geniuses. It's what he fancied himself as, after all, a man whom was significantly better than anyone else in the room. When he signs older talent like Andre Johnson or Frank Gore, he sees himself playing six-dimensional chess against peons. Developing and signing offensive linemen to protect his star talent and Andrew Luck, that isn't what great men do. They merely use picks to draft skill positions. In reality, his main claim to fame was bringing about the groan-worthy Deflategate scandal that wouldn't go away. He is the one that ratted about the balls to the NFL, even though it didn't matter since the Colts were completely annihilated in every way possible in the alleged game. Even in an alternate, properly inflated universe, Indianapolis would have still been destroyed by the Patriots. Speaking of destruction, Pagano and Grigson did not see eye to eye on things. They were consistently in a tug-of-war with each other for power and would scheme in Machiavellian ways to get the other fired. This enters our next person of interest, Jim Irsay, one of those beloved legacy owners that hasn't worked a proper day in his life. Easy to say, Irsay is the NFL equivalent of James Dolan. The man is a lethal combination of apathy and blatant ignorance. When the Colts are burning to ash, Jim says let them eat cake. Irsay is a man who likes his rum cake and eats it too. Well, without all of that pesky cake. The man's main strength in this world is his innate abilities of pill-popping and embarrassing DUIs, but at least he's got that killer guitar collection. He's like Sammy Hagar, but without the talent or the dignity. What is Irsay's plan to quell this drama? Choose a side that would involve doing something. Why not give them both extensions after a disappointing year? Cake, they're going for the caviar. Everybody loves everybody, and they're all going to sing Kumbayas while Andrew Luck gets obliterated in the pocket. Defense, nah, they've got Andrew Luck. He is the future. He's going to do so well for us that they play poorly and fail to make the playoffs in the worst division in football for consecutive years. They were beaten out by a team that had no quarterback whatsoever and the essence of mediocrity in the Titans. Most unsurprisingly, the grease fire that is their managerial situation is not solved, and the coach and GM are still at each other's throats. Finally, something is done. Grigson and his arrogance are shown the way out of Lucas Oil Stadium. To say this was a relief is a total understatement. The way to accurately describe his sacking is utter jubilation. Fans, athletes, analysts, even other teams were openly celebrating the demise of this useless ass. No longer would he run this organization into the ground. The glue factory has claimed one of their own. Don't worry about him, though. He suffered a ghastlier fate. A sentence worse than the slaughterhouse itself. A vanity job in the factory of sadness. With Grigson finally gone, the mess of the Colts can finally be cleaned. Chris Ballard is hired and is immediately thrown 11 trillion bags of refuse to sift through. They have no defense. The running game consists of a boxer injury away from the slaughterhouse and some cans of silly string. Calling the offensive line pylons would be an insult to the pylon. Their punter, Pat McAfee, just got tired of the shit show and willingly threw himself into the meat grinder for a career in shitposting at Barstool Sports. And most importantly, glorified cheerleader Pagano and his staff still remained. Yes, you'd figure that with the shit show that Indy had become, they would just blow everything up. But Irsay, seeing the dry patch in the field swarmed by plagues of locusts, kept him on to coach the Colts. Look at how wonderful they have been this season. If you consider watching a loved one slowly die to be wonderful. I think getting the earth salted by the Rams in the first week was enough of a statement on this season, but that wasn't enough. You had to make yourselves into more of a laughingstock. Vontae Davis, he got himself injured and needs season-ending surgery. Into the wood chipper you go, sir. No insurance payoff for your useless little issue. Get that ass cut. They can't cut Pagano, though, because he's too valuable in his uselessness as they blow a bunch of fourth-quarter leads and the O-line shits themselves for the 5th year in a row. God save Andrew Luck. Hopefully he can be salvaged from this wreckage. You killed him. You fucking killed him! You took the most surefire quarterback prospect this league has seen since Peyton Manning and turned him into RG3. Have you people any sense of decency? I mean, look at how he acts in interviews. Look at his posture, his mannerisms, his way of speaking. You've absolutely destroyed this man. You rattled him so much you've turned him into a vegetable. It's fucking egregious and borderline treason the way you've handled Luck since drafting him. Now you've realized the error of your ways and are trying to coddle the shit out of his corpse and keep his charred ashes secure in bubble wrap. Sadly, it will not work. They've officially shut him down for the season, and Luck is so desperate to save his career that he's going to Europe for experimental voodoo procedures to aid his shoulder. Don't tell Irsay that, though. He believes it's all in the mind. Injuries are a figment of the imagination. ACL tears, all mental. They can still play at full strength. Spoken like a truly useless legacy owner. They gambled everything like Art Schlichter on one man, and it blew up in their faces. Me personally, I'm going to go a step further. It's time to pull the cord, Indy. I want to save this man from the organization. We need to kidnap Luck, put him on a Mayflower truck, and transport him overnight to Baltimore. Should be a fair trade-off for the Ursays fucking the city over all those years ago. Don't get me wrong, Jacoby Brissett looks like he has promise, but how long is it going to be until they fuck him up as well? So far, it seems like they're beating him with the remains of Steve Emtman. Ballard has a ton of work to do repairing this awful mess, and he's going to have no help from their dipshit of an owner. This is a team that has been blessed with 4 generational quarterback talents since Johnny Unitas and has managed to fuck up or waste every single one of them. Well, maybe not Jeff George, that guy was a total cancer, but everyone else is tried and true. John Elway knew what the fuck he was doing by refusing to go to this train wreck of an organization, and it saved him from slaughter. Luck is just another victim of the glue factory, and now his remains are for sale at all fine retailers. Such a pity.
Okay, we need to turn this horseshoe on its side, add some shoulder straps, and turn it into a back brace. Because clearly Captain Andrew Luck needs a little more support to get the Colts over the hump. If I had to rate an entire division as salty, the electrolyte test for the AFC South is off the charts. Least salty is the Colts, as you had Manning, Johnny U, and have Luck, and occasionally work your way into the playoffs by doing things like having a defense. The thing to cause you the most salt is the fact that you live in a flyover state and grow a shit ton of corn.